So welcome to another chair yoga session, and today's session is going to be one that's standing up. So with the standing up practice, it can be done on its own, or you can use some of the earlier classes that I've already put up onto the channel to incorporate into a longer routine. So today, as you stand up, notice that I've actually changed chairs today. This one I can still sit comfortably, but it's a little bit lower for me. I found it was a bit high to do some of the poses. So depending on what you want to do with your class each time you come into the practice, maybe you want to use different chairs, you can play around with it. If you find one that's good, all the better. Now, with the chair today, we'll be pressing down into the chair a lot, and that has a tendency sometimes for the chair to push away. So if you have your chair on tiles and it feels like it's slippery, I would suggest that you find a yoga mat or a non-slip mat that you can actually put the chair on top of. So when we actually lean into that chair, it doesn't actually move. The other option, of course, is to put the chair right against the wall, and you've got a secure, strong base that you can really lean into. But today we're going to start by just standing and working on a balancing practice. So bring yourself so that you're really, really close to the chair. Have the feet together, the toes touching. Maybe the ankles touching, but it's okay if they're just a little bit apart. If the balance is good, release the chair and just let the hands go out to the side, turning the palms slightly forward and starting to work with your breath. If your balance is good, you can close the eyes down. Now, if the balance isn't that good, keep hold of the chair, close the eyes down, and just focus into the feet as they press down to the floor. You feel those toes press down, the outside edges of the feet, all those edges of the heel, the inner edge and outer edge and the front edge, to the balls of the feet. And yeah, I'm swaying around a little bit at the moment. I'm just trying to find this nice center point. And with the eyes closed, that sway might seem quite pronounced, but as long as you've got the comfort of the chair and the safety there to hold on to, it's okay. Maybe you can let go of the chair just for a moment, but safety is paramount. So if you feel that it's not good, either have the eyes open or keep hold of the chair. And just focus with the breath for a few resting breaths. Nice, steady, relaxing breaths. Opening the eyes and just separating the feet so they're a little bit apart, maybe hip width apart, and try to keep the feet so that they're parallel to the front. So those second toes point straight forward. We're working with an arm raise at the moment, and depending on your range of movement, that could be quite small or not at all, but it's all focused with working with the breath. So with the arms by the side, palms facing in, the shoulders down on the inhale, we're just going to slowly raise the arms up in front. Now, depending on the range of movement, it may go to here. You stop wherever your range of movement tells you at the top of your inhale. On the exhale, you slowly work it down. So inhaling, if you do take the arms all the way up, we're focusing on the stretch that happens when you get there. So it could be in the arms, it could be up here around the armpit area, it might be towards the side, or it might be the whole body. On the exhale, we just gently bring it back down. So if the range of movement isn't high, and we just come out into the front here, once we get to that spot, lift up through the shoulders and the sides of the body, and you can still feel a stretch happening as you make yourself tall and working down. Okay, so let's go out to the side now. So on the inhale, we're going to take the arms out to the side. Now, once again, depending on your range of movement, it could stop here. Turn the palms over on the way down. If you have full range of movement, on the inhale, we take the arms out to the side. We get to shoulder height, we turn the palms up and bring ourselves up into the air. As you come back down, at shoulder height, we turn the palms down and bring it down. It's working to your range of movement, all the way up into the air or wherever it's comfortable for you to stop. So long as you move with the breath, this is fine. If it turns out that the range of movement is really, really low, then perhaps there's a quick case of a small movement out to the side. Just to have that relationship of how your body moves with the breath. Okay, so this is going to be the last movement as we turn the palms down and come back in. Rest the hands on top of the chair and separate the legs out to a nice comfortable distance. Still try and have those feet facing forward. We're moving into a side bend. So with the left hand still on the chair, right hand drops down on the side of the right thigh, and on the exhale, we're letting that right hand drop down. If your balance is okay, you can take that left hand onto the hip and maybe bring the hand up towards the armpit. On the inhale, we come back up. So we're working from side to side. Exhale as we go to the side, a nice pause at the end of the exhale, and come back up. And of course, if the balance doesn't work properly, you can still use the chair for the support. Bring the feet back. So from here, you're going to step the left leg back into a lunge. So I'm moving onto the side now so you can get a better appreciation for how that works. With the left leg step back, we bring the front leg forward so that the knee is over the ankle. Now, a bit hard to see too much with that back foot, but the heel's up in the air and we're driving that heel back down so we get a nice stretch into the hamstring. Both hands are on the chair. We're facing towards the back of the chair, and as you inhale, take the shoulders back. Look ahead. Try and bring the chest forward and lift it up. Still focusing on that press into the back leg. And as you exhale, good grip on the chair. Keep the elbows in close. Lean yourself forward down onto the front or close to the front of the chair. Inhale, we come back up. So this is going to feel strength in the arms. As you exhale, you come forward. Inhale, we lift back up. So I've got my arms really close to the body. I can feel it as a tricep push-up. So just 4. Now, if you have really, really wide shoulders and it's too hard, maybe grab an extra chair so that you can put hands out a little bit further and still come down into that pose. From here, we're going to step back. So I want you to step the right leg back, get comfortable, grab the top of the chair and lean back into your mountain pose. So imagine someone's pulling you back from the hips. We're trying to keep our spine straight. We let the head come between the arms. So we have this one straight line from hips to hands. Try and broaden the shoulders as if you feel the armpits wrapping down to the sides. Stretch through the crown of the head, but let the shoulders go back. And once again, work with the breath. For a deep stretch into the legs, on the next inhale, See if you can lift up onto the heels. Bring those heels down. Lift up a little bit. And we're going to step the left leg forward now and go back into the other side. I'm going to step my right foot back a little bit so I get a better lunge. Whoops. And set it up, knee over the ankle, facing forward. Inhale, opening that chest as you look forward, and exhale, bring yourself down. So we have the 4. If you needed 2 chairs to get that little bit of extra distance so you can still do the pose properly. And then we step it back once again. So work out where best place for the legs to be. Pull those hips back. Facing down, trying to get that nice stretch once again. And working with your breath. Bend the knees a little bit, look ahead, walk into the chair. And then I want you to turn around so you face the front of the chair this time. So we're moving into our sequence, the pyramid, the triangle, and the reverse triangle. So we're stepping very close to the front of the chair, and we take our left leg back. And they say 1 leg width, whatever that is. Now you can see I don't think I'm 1 leg width apart, but I'm still going, you'll feel the stretch when you move into this pose. So hands on the hips, take the shoulders back, let yourself lean forward and just bring the hands down to the front of the chair. Rest the hands on the chair and work on a stretch. So we're trying to have the legs as straight as they can be. We want the spine to be straight and we want the head to be in line with the spine. So there's no drop, there's no arch. We want to feel as if the chest is parallel to the top of the chair and the hips are facing straight towards the chair. So the right hip may need to go back a little bit, the left hip forward, playing around with nice, gentle, subtle adjustments. If this stretch feels good, but you want to try to go further, it's okay to take the hands further away. But what you're trying to do is keep the back straight so you can come even further down and rest down. But if you start to get to the point where as you go forward, you start to feel everything bend over, take it back a little bit, find the spot where it's straight. And work with the breath. The triangle pose, we bring the right hand into the middle of the chair. Spread out nice and wide with those hands. Press down into the fingers as well as the palm of the hand. Take the left hand onto your hip and slowly turn towards the left. So we're trying to get this side bend here. So we're taking the left shoulder back. If it's comfortable, the left hand can go into the air. And work with the breath. Now, if it's bad for the shoulder, the hand can stay on the hip. If the balance is not good, both hands can stay on the chair, left hand on the edge of the chair, right hand in the middle, and you just slowly turn towards the right. From whatever pose you're in, you bring that left hand back down. We face the front, take the left hand into the middle of the chair, and leave the right hand just on the edge of the chair and slowly turn to the right. Or maybe you can take the right hand onto the hip and take that right shoulder back as you open up. The final part of the pose could be to take the hand into the air, but we want it to go straight up and the palm would face the same way your chest is facing. But too often I see an arm like this or this, it's too hard for the shoulder. So if that's you, leave the hand on the hip and just take that shoulder back and look up. And then come back down. So both hands on the front of the chair again. I'm going to step that right leg back and do the mountain pose, but it's a slight inversion this time. So I lean back, someone's got my hips and they're pulling it again, and I'm trying to pivot the body forward now to get that straight line. So still trying to broaden the shoulders. Extend the crown of the head, let the shoulders drop back towards the hips. Looking up a little bit, bend the legs, step the left foot forward now as we go into the other side. So try to straighten the legs, straighten the spine, lift up. Work with the breath. If you feel you've got a little bit more give in this, the hands can extend further forward. So you can take it wherever you wish to take it, so long as you treat that spine long and straight. And try to keep the legs straight. And just work with the breath. With each inhale, imagine that you're lengthening through the crown of the head. And with each exhale, imagine that you soften further into the pose. But it's imagined, it's visualizing, it doesn't have to physically happen. And now bring the left hand into the middle of the chair. Perhaps just that right hand on the edge of the chair as you turn to the right. Or maybe hand to the hip as you open that right shoulder. And perhaps that hand can go into the air. And once again, the palms facing forward in the same direction as the chest. If the neck is good, you can look up towards the hand. But if not, straight ahead or maybe even down to the floor and work with your breath. Come back down. Swap the hands over. Left hand to the hip. Or up into the air, but make sure it goes straight up into the air and not back down. Leave it on the hip. Open the chest to the left as that left shoulder goes back. Still focus on good alignment and form with the legs. And then coming back down. And this time stepping forward and slowly coming back up. And now standing back behind the chair once again. Have the feet together so the feet are touching, the hands are resting on the chair. And finishing with a balanced pose. So staying behind the chair, I'm moving the chair so you can see the feet. All the weight rested into your left leg as you bend the right knee bends onto tiptoe, out to the side, heel onto the calf, toasted on the floor. My hands are still on the chair. Alternately, that foot could go onto the calf. If you have the ability to move up higher, you can take the leg up higher. You could even use the hand to bring it all the way up and come into the full tree version. Anywhere down on the leg is fine, so long as that heel doesn't press into the side of the knee. So a bit higher is fine, lower is fine. The hands are still here. Wherever you've chosen to be, bring the right hand onto the chest. If the balance feels good, bring the left hand onto the chest. Wherever you are, be both hands on the chest, both hands on the chair, or one. See if you can close the eyes down for a last resting breath. Opening the eyes as you release, take that little movement. Feet back together, hands on the chair, left leg out to the side. taking it to wherever it works, so long as it's not on the edge of the knee. Hand on the chair, left hand onto the heart, perhaps both hands to the heart. Nice steady breaths. One last breath with the eyes closed if the balance is okay. And release. Come back to seated. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Close the eyes down. Focus on your body, your position. Briefly check in on how that feels. And now, bring the hands to prayer. Hari Om Tat Sat.